All right.
Sweet.
So, first of all, thank you. I was the one that reached out to you. Thank you for joining, making time. We don't want to take up too much of your time, but
No
we
problem.
appreciate you taking time out of your day to be on this humble podcast.
For sure. It's fire.
So,
So yeah, my name's Kazi, and this is Jacob, or he goes by JMB.
yeah.
Sweet.
Um, Again, yeah, thank you for taking time out to be on our podcast. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
So I saw you on Stephen Colbert, and I thought I got to check out your music. And once I did, I wasn't sure. I mean, he kind of promoted you as the mayor's son, and every place that I've read about you, I think that they lead with that, like that's your most admirable trait. But once I watched your TED talk, I realized that I was about to talk to a very impressive person and somebody that's actually like quite deep as an artist. So I knew that I needed to dig a little bit deeper.
Sure.
So you had an interview with Complex magazine. Was that before you were in Albania?
That was during the second time. Well, I went there the first time and I came back. But yeah, that was before the semifinals and the finals for Albania. And it
So
was pretty cool.
were
Yeah.
you a competitor or were you like a host?
In Albania, I was a part of like this music competition. It was pretty cool. It was like American Idol, but for like Europe. And a lot of people from like some Eurovision competition were a part of it. And I met a lot of international artists too, which was like the dopest part about it because, everybody likes hip hop. So they want to incorporate it in their music as well. And so yeah, I was competing in this competition and it was kind of like a part one, part two situation. And I got to the semifinals and then to the finals and it was like a voting, like you had to like get votes,
Yeah,
and it was just one of those like opportunities where I was able to learn how to perform in front of an international crowd and just practice my rap skills. So it was pretty dope. But yeah, the whole complex situation, it was it was mainly because of the whole like drill rap situation with like my dad and stuff, which is I blew out of proportion as well because this was around the time when Pop Smoke passed away, rest in peace. And he's asking like, who is Pop Smoke? And I showed him like a couple of music videos, just showing who he is, kind of. And then that just like took on a flame of its own. And I thought that was hilarious. Well, not hilarious, but I just think that like you showing your parents something could turn into something.
right.
Right. I get
So
that.
right, but no, things were cool after the whole complex situation. I was able to really just hone in on music, and it kind of like got me excited or motivated to finish up my project. I actually just changed the name of my project. It was gonna be called Brand New Galaxy, but now I'm just calling it my name Jordan because I'm transitioning from J.O. to Jordan, and so it's
Nice,
kind of like creating an emphasis on that.
nice. So yeah, you kind of like you mentioned the name of the project, and it sounds like very sci-fi.
Yeah,
And I don't think that's a word, sci-fi, but
nah, I
it's
know.
science fiction inspired. And I really
Yeah.
think that like when I take a look at some of like your album art and Apple Music, a lot of
Mhm.
it looks like space age and stuff like that. So is that something that interests you?
Yeah, big time. I've always been interested in kind of like the sci-fi because you can create your own world.
Okay.
Um, I think that what would sci-fi rap sound like? What would the future of rap sound like? Moving forward.
Hmm.
And I come from like a screenplay or a screenwriter background. I was a film student,
Okay.
and I majored in screenwriting, and I have like this whole script that's in a sci-fi world, and it has to do with like hip hop and stuff, sci-fi and hip hop, and I look to like incorporate my music and like use this as like the basis or the practice moving forward. And so with my artwork, I practice to make like different comic strips to show people what the world could look like, so that when it's time for it, they can see or just already have like a visualized conception of where I'm trying to go with my own stuff.
That's dope, man.
That's fascinating.
Thanks.
Um, may I ask, how old are you?
I'm 27. Yeah,
27? All right. So I'm
think
34,
we're
and I think that I don't know if it's something, kind of like indicative of, the millennial generation, right? But I think that like we have a very good imagination.
Yeah.
And like I've always been drawn towards science. I don't really
Yeah.
know who or what first got me. It might have been the Magic School Bus, to be honest. But
Okay.
like that's like, I don't know, man. Like I really, really like I think that imagination plays a huge role in writing poetry, writing in general, like if it's fiction.
Definitely. Yeah. I
And then
definitely.
um when JMB sent me your TED talk, and
Yeah.
he texted to me, he's like, "Oh, check this out when you have a moment." And I was at work, and I was like,
Uh,
"Cool, I'm gonna listen to it while I drive." And so
okay.
like I put it on and I'm driving, and then like halfway through, I'm like, "Wait a minute, is this Jo?"
I didn't even say it was you.
But
That's
then
crazy. I love that. I love
but
that.
it was when I heard you recited your poem,
Yeah.
and it I don't know if you started out kind of spoken word, and then it kind
Hmm.
of started like going into rap,
For sure.
and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just kind of like on a real note though, I outside of being like a fan of your music,
Hmm.
I personally took a lot away from that TED talk. So thank you.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Um
Thank you for watching it.
yeah, man.
It means a lot to me, that TED Talk. Yeah. To this day.
So yeah.
So Jordan, I wrote down like way too many questions, and I'm not gonna ask you all these, and I don't
Okay.
want to sound corny with some of these, but it's
So,
just brainstorming and stuff like that, right? But
sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
prefer if I like how we're having an organic sounding just banter. But I've seen that you've met some really cool musicians and celebrities, and I have to ask, if you don't mind, who was your maybe your favorite or somebody that you geeked out on the
Yeah.
inside, and who was kind of disappointing?
Disappointing. Okay. Well, my favorite has to be Kobe Bryant overall, man. Like Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. He was like one of those guys that it's just like you want to look up to, and then when you meet him, it's just like, yeah, you're exactly who I thought you would be. Like you're really awesome.
Oh my God,
Um,
that's awesome.
when
Great.
I was when I was younger, I was a filmmaker, and I my first film was a documentary about education, and he said that he would like, want to be a part of it. And so he plays for the Lakers in Los Angeles, and so it was hard for him to be on the East Coast. But he said if the if you could come down to Washington D.C., I play the Wizards. If you come to Washington D.C., I'll do the interview. So me and a couple of my friends, we like hopped in the car with our parents and we drove down there. And then we waited in like the hotel for like a good 4 or 5 hours while he was in practice. But then
Wow.
after practice, like he came in sweats and he was like, "Yo, Jordan, what's up, man?" Hanged out, signed everything we wanted him to sign, like everything. If there was a napkin there, he would have signed it. And then like there was like space on the balcony, and I'm like dribbling the ball, and he's like, "Yo, show me what you got. Like, what's up?" I'm like, "Yo, Kobe, you want no parts of this?" You know what I'm saying? They have one of those
Yes.
moments, and he takes the ball. I'm trying to steal it from him. It was just like an organic moment, and it really like it it kind of was like my good luck charm in a sense, and I felt like it was his good luck charm too because later on that year he won the championship, and he bought me a pair of sneakers, and like it was just like a cool kind of situation, like a good streak of luck for both of us. And then after his whole career, he went off to go make a film and win an Oscar. So I'm like, yo, man, you doing exactly what I wanted to do, the whole film situation. So he's goals overall for me.
Nice.
Um, yeah, that was definitely a good time.
Rest in
I
peace.
can't think of definitely. I can't think of any time of when it was like bad of when I met a celebrity. I can tell you one time though, I remember I was in a locker room when I was supposed to meet LeBron, and I was a little bit younger at the time, and this was for the same film. And like I was like one of the smallest ones in the locker room kind of situation, and he uh he was like in the zone getting ready. This is like early LeBron, like early in his career. And this is like, Cleveland Cavs with Ben Wallace, Damon Jones, back in the day.
Yeah.
So
Like
so
2006 type of thing.
yeah. It was a while back. And this is like, when his like it's like LeBron coming to the Garden situation. So we're in the locker room. This is before the game, and I'm like trying to like get his attention, and he's just like in the zone. You know what I'm saying? His headphones on. He goes into the back, and then his agent comes out, and his agent is like, he can't do the interview before the game, but maybe after the game. And at the time, you know, my mom was a reporter for the Daily News. At the time, she was like, "How come he can't do it before the game?" Da, da, da. You know how reporters are.
Yeah.
So we leave. And then later on, like I'm watching the game and LeBron scores like 50 and it's like a historic night. I'm just like, Ma, like, why did we not just stay
Yeah.
the game and be a part of greatness? Like, come
uh,
on. So I guess that was like my whole like bummer situation, but you know, it's not because of him specifically. It's because he
right.
was focused on having a historic night.
Sure.
So,
No, but that's valid though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
you
yeah, totally.
brushed shoulders with him, but didn't quite get the interview.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so back to your TED talk, you
yeah,
said trust the process.
for sure. Yep.
And how do you actually put this into practice?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say trusting the process comes from you understanding your game plan. And once you create your game plan, you take it step by step. So, you know, me with my project, I want to create an album where people can play it in their car. What does that sound like? That means after the gym. That means going to the beach. That means heading to the club. That means, you know, different situations.
Mhm.
So you have to make a list of all the sounds or all the feels or the emotions that you want to go through, and then you have to attack it and figure out a way to attack your list. And I think that's the same thing with like cooking. If you want to cook for Thanksgiving, what are the things you want to cook? You want to make a turkey, you want to make stuffing, you want to make such and such. You make a list and then you attack it. And I think once you have your list and once you have like a game plan, you just need to keep going with it. And that's the whole trust in the process part, because there's times where it's like, yo, why the hell am I doing this? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're in the middle
Yeah.
of it. It just seems so tedious. I remember one time for one of my college papers, when I was getting my master's, I capitalized every letter on the paper. And like, it was like a film paper. And I capitalized every letter. And like I was like halfway through it, and my teacher, and I was thinking to myself, like, yo, my teacher's not even gonna pay attention to this. Like, why do I even emphasize this? And then sure enough, my teacher was like, I'm fully impressed that you capitalized every letter and you got a little extra bonus point for me for detail because you actually went through and thoroughly did it. So it's kind of like, you know, it might seem little at first, but to someone else, it could be powerful. And to yourself at the end, it could be powerful too. And a lot of people don't realize that because, you know, when you have a list and like you accomplish everything on your list, you get like a little boost of confidence, which
Right.
is, you know, something that's always helpful at the end.
Yeah, man. Kind of like the takeaway that I got from that discussion that you gave at your TED talk about
Mhm.
trusting in the process. I'm an entrepreneur, and
Mhm.
you know, in a nutshell, I quit my job back in 2018. I had like a
Right.
desk job. It's how I met this guy.
Yeah.
Um, and I just like, if you've seen the movie Office Space, that's
Yeah.
what my life was like. I just hated working in a cubicle. It was draining, right? And
Fair enough. Yeah.
I had just lost my grandfather on my dad's side, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? Life's too short. I
Mm-hmm.
My plan from when I was in business school was I want to open my own restaurant. And so I just like I fucking quit my job.
Word up.
I cashed in my 401k and I lived off of that for like half a year.
Yeah.
And I just like I went in hard. I went in 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been a very like rocky road.
I could imagine for sure.
And but I opened the business back in May of 22. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant right now, it's just a food truck, but it's definitely something that like there was so many steps and so
Mm-hmm.
many hoops to jump through and like
Right.
bureaucracy and all that stuff. Like
COVID.
yeah,
And
COVID.
COVID,
I
that's
mean,
a whole different knuckleball right there.
so definitely just like kind of listening to you tell
Yeah.
your story and your examples about trusting the process, about like playing football in high school and trusting the
Absolutely.
process, and like as a high school and collegiate athlete,
Yeah.
that kind of like a little switch went off in my brain,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah. Yeah.
really like piqued my interest. And so that's really something too that like I think if people were to listen to like that message that you have to give,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be through your music or through your poetry, I think that or even like films that you make, right? Like I'm sure that
Yeah,
like
thank you.
pieces of that process can be seen, and it's definitely something that's like reverberating with me, right? It's like, because it's the winter time now, so I'm not in food truck mode, right?
Right.
Working some other kind of job right now, and like it sucks.
Mhm.
You gotta keep, gotta pay the bills. So
Absolutely. That's
um
the name of the game.
but
Name of the game.
yeah,
But, you
man,
know, I'm glad it's resonating with you for sure.
definitely,
You know, and
definitely.
that just tells me to trust the process and continue to make good stuff so people could, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Could vibe with it. Absolutely.
Speaking of vibing with it,
Yeah.
JMB sent me Itsy Bitsy,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
I like that song. I like that song a lot.
Thank you.
Um
Thank
and,
you a lot.
and then the what was the second song?
The is it all the way? I'm drawing a. It's all the way.
All the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
All
that
the
is what
way.
it's
All the
called.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got
Yeah.
it's
All
you
the
and your
way.
dad on the album artwork. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my personal. I mean, I think Itsy Bitsy is a banger, but this
Yeah.
one kind of hit more. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I
the
feel that.
words like really spoke to me. And I mean, while we're on the subject, I don't even remember what song this came from, but there was a line, Hackensack done made me, from the river came a shark. And then there was like another
Yeah.
bar, and streets
Yeah.
wasn't my home,
Solid.
but with me they left a mark.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, that's kind of like you being your genuine self on the
For
mic,
sure.
right? Like that's you. You're not putting on a front. I like how you don't pretend to be like some Dubai oil millionaire, while you same thing. You don't pretend to be like from the projects 24/7.
Mhm.
Like you're just your genuine self, and that makes the music in, instead of a money making endeavor, it makes it an art.
Right.
I appreciate you taking the time to notice that too, because yeah, I definitely want to be myself on these songs. You know, I got a variety of people who listen to me, and for the most part, they all know who I am, and they know that I'm a nice person. You know, but I grew up in a situation where it wasn't always the nicest, or it wasn't always the calmest. You know, going to public school,
Yeah,
and it was just it was my environment, but it wasn't me. And I know there's kids growing up in this same environment that can choose either to go down one route or the other. So I just kind of want to be a role model in the sense of like, you grow up here, but understand that you don't have to fully be consumed in just this life. There's more to life. So yeah.
And that's
That
important
was on
too.
Starlander too, by the way. They be wanting slaps, but I ain't giving that. I know you could feel me without time. Yeah, that was Starlander.
Nice.
oh yeah, Starlander. All right, let me jot that down and add that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you've been called an activist.
sure.
What
Yeah.
is your biggest cause?
That's a good question. I would say education, you know, and I everyone isn't built for school, obviously, but everyone's built for education. You know, you can learn through YouTube, you can learn through reading listening to audiobooks. And I think creating something or having a passion to just learn something, whether it's a trade or a language, there has to be something out there that you're interested in. And I feel like if you put effort towards it, you'll learn more things, and your appetite for learning will increase. And so I would say that I'm an activist for education. And for me personally, I've been growing, internationally. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out different places where I would want to go and perform and go and explore and go on vacation, but also to incorporate music and to create art where people are hearing it in different languages, and they appreciate what I'm saying. Like I'm just, I don't know, like I'm fascinated by the world. I want people from around the world to appreciate my art. So I'm willing to put in the effort to learn other cultures. And I think that if, just like with science, sci-fi, someone might be interested in mixing, different chemicals together and creating volcanoes or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Right, right.
Everyone has a passion. I'll say that just going to make the extra effort to learn. And that's why I'm an activist for education.
That's man, I feel like if we were in the same space, we could just like hang out and just like talk all day.
Oh, for
um
sure, bro. For sure. Yeah,
but like
definitely.
that's You're like saying all the right stuff that like I agree with, because my wife is an educator.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
grandmother was an educator. My sister
Nice.
is an educator, and
Nice.
it's, I specifically, my wife is the director of a childcare center, so like
Okay.
preschool and
Right.
younger.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think back to when I was in nursery school, right?
Yeah.
And I remember Mrs. Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
That was my teacher, right? And like
Yeah, sure enough.
it was 30 years ago, right? I
That's
still remember
impact.
her name. I
Yeah,
still remember how kind she was and like the things that she taught me. And I still remember all of my teachers' names and
for
all of the
sure.
things that they taught me. And I think that like whether or not you're in an institution or not, right? Because you
Yeah,
can be taught by life. I can
right.
be taught
Mhm.
by Jacob. I can be taught by you. You
Sure
know,
enough.
I can be taught by the Jizza when I listen to,
Hmm.
his music and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And just like
you
really
know
like
it.
focusing in on all these teachers
Hmm.
and these educators in our lives. And I think like seeking knowledge, right? And I'm a big like Game of Thrones fan.
I hear that. Which
And so
house?
I I mean, I gotta say like I gotta say Stark, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's the appropriate answer, but we could talk later.
But so like I've been trying to think about like what would be our family motto, right?
Hmm.
Like we
Hmm.
just had a daughter 6 months ago, so
Oh, congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm trying to think like, okay, like what is House Kazi's motto gonna
Hmm.
be?
Hmm.
And I kind of settled on like seek knowledge and justice.
I dig that for sure.
And like just seeking knowledge, like being hungry for knowledge is something that's super important. And I think if you can
Yeah.
like teach that to young people, right? Like
Yeah.
be curious, right? Be curious
Mhm.
and ask those questions and like seek to learn things. So that's really dope that you're into education and focusing
Thank
on
you.
that, being an
Thank
active.
you
So
for sure.
So
Yeah.
you mentioned some of your upcoming projects. Uh,
Yeah.
I I noted that you're gonna go by Jordan kind of going forward.
Hmm. You can
At
still put JO too if you want.
J.O.D.A.N. Yeah, all right. I got both, no problem.
Yeah.
And can you remind me of the title of your upcoming album or EP?
Yeah, it's gonna be called Jordan, and it just has periods in between each letter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
nice.
All right, I got it.
Are you gonna try to like make that an acronym or anything like that?
I've been thinking about it, but I haven't come up with anything just yet.
Yeah,
Maybe, once I finish up these songs, something will come together.
cool.
So, yeah. But I will tell you that the cover art, I went to Hackensack High School, and we were called the Comets, and that falls into the whole sci-fi situation.
Yeah,
I wanted to be it's called J.O.R.D.A.N or Jordan, and then under it's gonna be set in stone. And I'm trying like experiment on the idea of like a space caveman. So like it's gonna be on the comet. It's gonna be like caveman etched in stone, kind of the name,
yeah.
and it's gonna be a comet like flying past just to see how that would look. So yeah,
Are
we're
you
gonna test.
making this? Are you collaborating with somebody or do you make this art?
Yeah, one of my classmates from grad school, he kind of does all my cover arts. He's so dope with the stuff, and he creates like 3D stuff. I just don't have enough money to pay for him just yet to do 3D, but that's coming later on for
Dude,
sure.
that's awesome.
You completed your master's?
No, I didn't. I dropped out the semester away because when the pandemic came and I had to find a job, and I was working at as a production assistant for Godfather of Harlem, and I became Forrest Whitaker's personal assistant on that show.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, thank you. And I told Forrest, I was like, "Yo, Forrest, like I dropped out of school to be your assistant." He was like, "Look, man, we're gonna ride with this. You're gonna make the right decision out of it." And sure enough, things have been working out. Me and him still have a very good relationship,
Nice.
and I still talk to the people at my school too, from grad school. And I think about going back here and there. It's only a semester. I'll probably have to do a full year just because things probably expired or whatever. But
Right.
I'm open to it.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience to get my master's.
It's a
It's,
lot. It's a
I
lot.
know.
And I would prefer to be in the classroom, but it's a lot of time just to be sitting in the classroom.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
So, uh, off topic from music, Knicks,
Mhm.
Nets.
Oh, Nets for sure, for sure.
I was
You
gonna
know,
guess that. I was I wasn't sure. All right.
yeah. Lucius Harris, Kerry Kittles, Jake Kidd, Brian Scalabrine. You know what I'm saying? Kenya Martin.
So all around Brooklyn wise, everything, music, athletic, politics. Who's the GOAT?
um, who's the GOAT? If we saying like they're born from Brooklyn, I have to go MJ. But if we saying representing Brooklyn, who's the GOAT? Ah,
It's tough.
Don't
It's
want to
tough.
offend anybody.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a tough one right there. That's a tough one.
Wasn't Biggie from Brooklyn?
Of course, Biggie from
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Jay is
So
from
so
Brooklyn.
if you
They had a quote on the
Yeah.
sign. It says
Yeah.
"Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way."
yeah, you keep I mean
Yeah.
like you if you got Biggie to contend with and then like I don't even know, like
I mean,
Most Def, right?
nobody's really on
Yeah.
that level. And then like, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure
Eddie
Tupac was
Murphy,
originally from there
right?
too,
Yeah.
but he wasn't really like repping Brooklyn.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
pretty sure
Yeah.
that's where he was born. Although, I mean, Pac was kind of like all around. Like he spent time in Baltimore and then Oakland or whatever.
Mhm.
But
Definitely travel.
Jay-Z, how could we not?
Hove, yeah, that Hove, that's a goat right there. I love Hove. That's gonna be my answer right now.
Old Dirty,
Yeah,
Brooklyn
yeah, that's
Zoo.
another one too. You
But
know,
for me,
you even got Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy.
oh, Chris
Yeah,
Rock,
I
yeah,
forgot
he is
about
from
that.
Bed-Stuy. That's right.
Yeah, shit.
Mhm.
Yo, I got
Mhm.
to see Chris Rock in Buffalo.
Did you really?
Yeah, last May. My mom really wanted
Yeah.
to go see him after the slap incident. She's like, "Oh, we got to
How's
go
he
see
doing?
Chris Rock."
Yeah.
And we bought her tickets for her birthday and we went out there, and I tell you what, there's nothing more humbling than
Yeah.
sitting next to your mom at a Chris Rock show, because he's gonna cover some topics that are
Fair
very
enough.
R-rated.
Fair enough. You just like sit there like, all right, Bob, we going through this together.
Yeah.
You gotta ride it out, I
Yeah.
guess.
Right, right.
Oh,
We both
shoot.
know what he's talking about here.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, bro.
I remember your mom, you pulled up and your mom was in your car.
Oh yeah.
There was some vulgar, profane lyric, and you had it like your car was on like full blast.
It was
and your mom was like, "That's enough, dear."
it was remastered. It was Brooklyn Zoo.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was all
Oh,
like
yeah.
the "you can suck my dick" line.
Yeah.
And then she tapped out at
Yeah,
that
she
point.
was like,
Like,
"Oh,
all right.
okay."
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
funny.
Russell Jones.
So, Jordan, I think one more question. What
Sure.
do people get wrong about you?
I think people get wrong that I would say that I'm arrogant or I'm hard to approach or that like I'm full of myself. I think once you really get to talk to me or once you really get to understand the angle of which I'm coming from, I'm pretty approachable. I'm pretty easy to talk to and I'm pretty considerate. I do have a lot of confidence and I walk around like that. And I probably get it from my dad.
Yeah.
And we're just those type of people who we're proud to be who we are. We're blessed to be who we are at the same time. So we're enjoying it. And yeah, I would say that moving forward, I'm looking to be more I guess more cautious of myself and how I present it in the world to fix that whole perspective.
Yeah.
And with my music as well, with me saying different lines, like I feel like, in hip hop, you're going to be saying vulgar things, but
Right.
there's going to be some spicy outtakes. And I want to make sure that like my perspective fits something where everything feels appropriate.
I feel that, man. That's
Yeah.
something too that like I think that I like to present myself to be approachable, and I
Mhm.
feel that sometimes my facial expression, right?
Yeah,
I think I
same.
definitely have like resting bitch face, I guess, but like
Agreed. Me too. It's my
people,
eyebrows.
yeah, it is. But I think that that's smart, and I think that's very introspective
Thank
to
you.
like to identify like, oh, this is what people get wrong about me, and I want to try to like fix that.
It's a trait of a leader.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like one of the sweetest things about this whole situation is that, you know, in the rap world, I'm considered a little bit older, but, you know, Jay didn't start really rapping until he was 26, or he didn't really take off until he was 26, 27. So, like, now I get to come into the game with a bit more maturity. And I
Yeah.
feel like with the content and the things I talk about, it's a bit for a more mature audience to begin with. So I get to move in a different way than if I came into the game and I was 19 and I had to keep up the image of a 19-year-old as I got older.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on. You
Of
didn't have
course.
to do that. You said yes, and we
Of
were
course.
flexible with the schedule, but
Yeah. Thank you
made
for
it.
being flexible, man. Because
Absolutely.
I made some fire today. Definitely made
Nice.
some progress.
We'll be looking for it.
Yeah, can't wait to hear it.
We'll be looking for it.
Sure.
Jordan, you have a
Yep.
good rest of your night. We appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you
You do
so
the
much.
same. Take care. Yep.
Peace.
Have a good one.